Hi there, and welcome to this first bonus lesson for volume 2. And as you can see, we are not in front Cinema 4D, we are actually in a completely free application that is called paint.net. It is basically a Photoshop clone, and it is actually more than enough to do really nice post-production. So you don't have to have fancy, expensive applications to do good post-production. This application is really easy to pick up. It's for anyone who ever used Photoshop or a similar application, it will be really easy to find his way around. So let's load our image here. It looks really nice, but it has some sort of deficiencies to it. And we will fix that really quickly, and this will be really simple. First, you have to understand what is wrong with your image, what is missing, what is the problem. And the problem here is that this image is a little bit too dim. The second problem, at least for me, is that the image lacks a bit of colors here. So firstly, I will colorize and then intensify those all values in one go. If you understand layers in Cinema 4D, you will understand that this is almost completely the same. It's even more simpler. First, I will duplicate this background layer. So I will click this little guy, and I will get an exact copy. But just for the sake of understanding, I will rename it Addition, because I will add something to it. You can name it whatever you like. Let me double click on that guy. And now you can see the blending mode. If you click on this drop down menu, you will see that there are actually many blending modes that you can actually find in Cinema 4D. And of course, the first one that catches your eye is multiply. And it simply doesn't do the job for us. The second one is additive, and this is the one that I will use for this image. Here under opacity, this basically means the strength slider. It's not from 0 to 100. So simply forget these numbers and tune these downwards or upwards until you find something that really works for you. We could even use 100, a straight 100 number just for the clarity here. And now we added some colors and intensities and clearness in this image. And it looks much better in terms of contrast and colorization. And I want to do this again. I want to duplicate this layer once more. And I will call this one Addition 2. So now you have these checkboxes. You can simply turn it off to see what every single of these guys does. So firstly, we had a render version. We added some addition to it in terms of additive colorization. And now in this second one, I want to add some sort of a glow effect. And that glow effect will simulate the daylight, that softness around some objects when they're hit with intense sunlight or a different light source. And the way to do that is to set this layer to be in the screen mode. And watch what happens. You can see some sort of a softness happen. We just disable this middle guy. So we are working at one layer at a time. Let me show you if I crank up these values a bit. Let's go all the way to, let's say 255. It will intensify there a bit. The nice thing when you add a screen layer to your image is to utilize the blur effect. So let's add a Gaussian blur to our layer. And if your image is detailed and has high resolution, it's really clear and crisp, use larger values here, something like 10. Well, let's try 10 here. And now you see there is some sort of a feeling to the scene. It's glowing, but it's really too much. It's blown out of the proportions. So simply scale that strength down. tune it down until you find something that really works, that is eye-pleasing, until you have some sort of a hint of that effect. Let's try also 100. We're pretty lucky today, we can use round numbers. And enable this second layer here and see what you get. This is actually quite good for me now. You can find something completely different to be pleasing you. You may find that this is more pleasing, or maybe even without that addition. So the secret in post-production is layers. And that is why you have multi-pass option in Cinema 4D. You can output multiple layers for every single channel in your render, and that gives you tremendous power in post-production. So don't worry if your renders don't come out really nice from the engine default. You can fix that later in post-production. So let's repeat again. We had a completely, let me turn this off. We had a render version. We added a new layer in additive mode just to bleed more color and intensity into this scene. And we added a second layer in screen mode, and we applied a Gaussian blur to that. So that is really simple to get. And try this technique on your existing images. It will improve them. You may find that values higher than 100 or 150 or even 200 really are pleasing you. So go for that. It's all the matter of taste. That's it, and see you in the next bonus lesson.